Hello, family. This is Keziah back with High Priestess Key 333 to talk more about the spiritual astrology as well as the universal laws. Okay, so this is 9 and 10. We have two more to go, family. We are almost done with this series of the universal laws that I'm just brushing across, not going into great detail of either or. But we will do that more over on my Patreon. So if you would like to join us over on Patreon, my Patreon page is all in the cards. Okay, so it's not the same as High Priestess Key. That's just my name, right? But I have a big channel that is all in the cards. I also have a website that is allinthecards.com. Come and check me out. All right. Now, the first universal law that I want to discuss is the ninth one in the spiritual astrology. And this universal law is a very good principle that goes along with all the rest of the universal laws that govern the universe, right? And this one is the law of relativity. Now, the law of relativity is everything is relative, right? Reality. Okay. The law of relativity goes back to teach us, family, that every situation that we deal with in this human experience is all neutral because it's all based off of your perception and how you perceive things. Okay. That's what gives everything meaning, and intention in reference of how you are to live your life or how you decide to live your life, because everything is free will here. So each person, everybody here on this planet will have a series or maybe even a certain amount of events that happen in your life, that maybe problems, maybe good things, bad things, but purposeful things that will strengthen the light within, as well as may take you through some darkness as well. The law of relativity is a law that helps you compare, problems and issues, and compare your darkness, with others and so forth. But it puts everything into proper perspective. Okay, it puts everything in reference of letting you know that everything is relative. It lets you know, and it basically gives you outlook that you should view every challenge as a lesson here in life, because life is a lesson. All right. So no matter how hard your challenges are or your circumstances may be, or you may even not have any, circumstances that you may be dealing with on a day to day, but have, or maybe you're someone who deals with challenges every day, whichever way it may go for you and how it may resonate, there are always others facing a harder hardship, is what you have to realize. So that brings in the situation of gratitude. Okay. So this law is about understanding the challenges not as obstacles, or not just as obstacles, but as opportunity to grow. Okay, it's the law of relativity is to give you the energy of encouraging you to view your struggles, in reference of helping others, and to have gratitude, and to have empathy, and to be humble, and things of that sort. Okay, and to have humility, to reflect on the challenges is definitely an opportunity to grow. So, all in all, that spiritual astrology is attached to Capricorn. Capricorn are the prayer warriors. All right. They are the messengers of prayer. Okay. So with that and all the challenges and the lessons and everything that they've been through, they are the mighty warriors of prayer. And that goes back to meaning meditation for some people, right? And for some people, it just means to have that strict connection with source, with the ancestors, right? With the Most High. And with that being the prayer warriors that the Capricorns are, the Capricorns should look at every challenge as a lesson. Okay, everything that they've been through should be looked at as a lesson, and not just Capricorn, because all of us are all the signs. But wherever you have Capricorn in your chart, this may resonate strongly. Remember that Capricorn energy is that powerful tongue. Okay, it's all about the things that they speak, and that goes back to even repenting things, right? That goes back to praying things. That goes back to affirmations and mantras and everything that you can do to shift that energy from the obstacles to the growth, okay, and overcoming, okay. So with the Capricorn energy, do know that Capricorns is the kings and the queens, the gods and the goddesses, all right. You must live up to that in reference of following all the rules, Capricorns, right? And that Capricorn energy. When Capricorns are in alignment, Capricorns should be the humanitarian anyway. So looking out for others, praying for others, doing these things, right? Capricorns is all about your chakras. You have all of the chakras and definitely all of the clairs, but highlighted in reference of empathy, okay? So that's just a little bit, but when you're out of alignment, all your clairs will be out of alignment. All your chakras will be out of alignment. When you're out of alignment, you may speak negatively over people. You may be doing negative things. And you may also, it's a big situation with Capricorns around sexuality and lust. All right. So that may also cause some obstacles in your life. Okay. These are just some attributes in reference of that spiritual astrology that goes along with everything is all is relative. Okay. Reality. The reality is that for my Capricorns, you have to look at every challenge as a lesson and pray your way through it. Meditate your way through it. Whatever it is for you to connect to higher source and your higher self. All right. Now, for Universal Law 10, we move into the law of polarity, the opposites. All right. So when we talk about the law of polarity, we talk about everything has an opposite. Every problem has a solution. There is definitely an opposite to each one of us, and there is a complete opposite to any degree of any form of anything that is here. Okay, but also identical in nature, okay? Maybe different in degrees or different in vibrations, right? But it is an opposite. Heat to cold is the same thing in reference of temperature, right? It helps us to understand and appreciate duality of life is what I always talk about. So duality of life can go hand in hand in reference of polarity. This law is crucial in helping you navigate the ups and the downs, the balancing of your masculine and your feminine. The do's and the don'ts, the good and the bad. By understanding every opposite, you should appreciate and learn sides of every experience. Okay. So just as I've always told you guys in reference of Aquarius, which is attached to the law of polarity in some of my Aquariuses, you may have dealt with things in your past that has something to do with the opposite sign or even dealing with the opposite personalities. You may have dealt with a lot of situations where there have been problems, but just see that's the situation has a solution. And with Aquarius is the youngest of the zodiac. So we look at the Aquarius in the spiritual astrologies as the prince and the princesses. All right. And with Aquarius being the attached to the law of polarity family, what I want to let you know about Aquarius is that they fight with flesh and spirit. They fight with flesh and spirit. See the duality, the good and the bad, because the physical is completely the opposite of the spiritual. You see, so that's what Aquarius is fight with a lot. The spirit can the flesh can get weak, okay, and it goes back to even sexuality and lusting and allowing the flesh to take over your mind in reference of being lustful or being overly sexual and sensual and sexual desires and things like that that can take over your mind, that can affect you here in the physical versus you attaching yourself to the spiritual. It is like a transition, right? In reference of having to deal with it. Like when the Aquariuses are in alignment in reference of the law of polarity, they have very keen discernment, okay, and intelligence. Okay, wisdom, they're the humanitarians, they help others and so forth, right? When they're in alignments, they're their crown chakra is strong. That's their highlight for the Aquariuses. In reference of polarity, the law of polarity is if your crown chakra is in place, which is your head, your brain, your mind, right? Then you know how to balance things. So polarity comes easy for you, and duality comes easy for you to be able to balance things. But when my Aquarius is and they're out of alignment with the law of polarity, then it can become an issue of not being able to use discernment, not being able to make good judgment, being very naive and being very vulnerable and not helping others and allowing others to help them, to becoming to not allow their spirit to lead them in the right way, to be very lustful, that they become the messenger of lust. Okay, become cheaters, and even the duality of being, bisexual, and just, no wisdom, no, it turns to the opposite, because it is the opposite. Like, lack of knowledge and being intelligent is the opposites, right? So, and they can transition between this off and on with Aquariuses, but all signs can do it as well. You see how it governs all the universe, right? But it's more prone with this sign. That's the spiritual astrology of the law of polarity. All right. So that is what I want you guys to understand and know, in reference of the spiritual astrology with my signs that are here for Capricorn and Aquarius, the law of relativity for Capricorns, and the law of polarity for my Aquariuses. All right. I hope this gave you some aspect of things in reference of the universal laws. And now I shall move into your energy reading that are not time stamped. And you should be able to check those messages, and maybe they'll resonate with you now or maybe in the future. Much love. Peace.